What is sleep for? We don't know yet. There are many suggestions, many guesses, many hypotheses. And the way we're approaching the problem is to search for mutations that produce different amounts of sleep. And we're most interested in mutations that shorten sleep. What happens when you have a fruit fly that has much less sleep than an ordinary, normal fruit fly, a wild-type fruit fly? We over and over again have collected mutations that affect different genes, where 30 or 40% of the amount of sleep, and invariably that produces flies with a short lifespan. The endpoint is a shortened lifespan, but we want to know why. What proportion of the human population that has a sleep disorder of some type has it because of a genetic change, and more particularly a change in the components of a circadian clock? And it's hard for me to guess. We've only looked at one kind of disorder initially, which is something called delayed sleep phase disorder, and these are chronic night owls. These are people that can't wake up in the morning and they can't get to sleep until way after midnight each night. And that's a pretty prevalent, that kind of disorder is pretty prevalent. Maybe 5% of the population in the US come into sleep clinics complaining about that. What we've found is that we can account for about 20% of those individuals by a genetic change. Effects of mutations that disrupt sleep or circadian rhythmicity. I think there could be important health consequences. In animal models, for example, we know that if we don't have an operating clock, for example, in the pancreas, we'll have a diabetic-like response in that animal, in that experimental animal. And I would suspect if we would have the same thing if we lost the clocks running in our pancreas. We'd have the same kind of a problem. Beyond just therapies and treatment of disease, it's, society now has electric lights and the ability to have a meal at any time of day or night. And if we succumb to that lack of a pattern, that's going to conflict with what our body's trying to do, because our bodies are built on clocks. Just about every cell in our body carries a clock that's listening to when we eat and when we see sunlight and a whole variety of environmental signals. And we're really designed to be coherent for all those clocks to run together and agree on time of day. In fact, the clocks, even within one's own body, can have independent action. So, for example, if you eat only at night, if you wake up in the middle of the night and you eat, and then you go back to sleep, and then you run around all day but you don't eat, you're going to have profound changes on the clocks, the time zone that your liver and your lungs are in versus your head. So you can actually be existing in multiple time zones simultaneously if you are careless about attention to the synchrony of these clocks.